Hey guys, this is Lala Legacy, and welcome back to another episode of Cinderella Phenomenon. So let's jump right back in. I coolly look at Sir Alcaster, who looks like he's about to pop a vein. I cannot help but feel satisfied at his reaction. In just a few steps, he is suddenly looming over me. I have never seen Sir Alcaster look so angry before. What is going on? Rod is now walking towards us with a scowl on his face. Sir Alcaster notices this and quickly steps back. There was just a little misunderstanding, Your Highness. Rod glances at me, his eyes narrowing. Great! I am sure he's going to blame me for this too, even though I did nothing. Oh! Much to my surprise, Rod puts himself between me and Sir Alcaster. Are you all right, Melody? He is worried about me? I slowly nod. Rod turns back to Sir Alcaster and Sir Mythros. If you don't have any business with Melody, I will be taking her with me. And Melanie is already waiting for her. Sir Alcaster stares at me for a few moments before bowing down to Rod. Of course, Your Highness. Thank you. Rod turns to me again, his expression solemn. Shall we? He walks off before waiting for my reply. I look back at Sir Alcaster and Sir Mythros one last time before chasing after him. The both of us spent the next few minutes walking in silence. Rod has not said a thing since my encounter with Sir Mythros and Sir Alcaster. Are you okay? What? He already asked me that before. Is he really that worried? I am fine. I am surprised by the look on Rod's face at my response. His expression is soft, so unlike his usual scowl. Rod here is pretty worried about you, princess. Rod glares at Sebby, his cheeks tinged pink. Sebby chuckles. Sorry, Rod, your thoughts ring so loudly in your mind that I can't help but say them aloud. This is not the first time that Sebby has told me about what Rod is thinking. Rod reaches out and pinches Sebby's face, his scowl returning. Ow, 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 I'm sorry, okay? But next time, try not to think too loudly. You said that Melanie was waiting for me. I did not expect her to be up so early. Where is she? I lied. What? He lied to help me out of that situation. Why? Are you helping me? Because while you're here, you're my responsibility. I may loathe the role, but I will still uphold it. Besides, you don't need a reason to help someone in need. Help someone in need? I remember Parfait and Delora telling me before that being good often involves helping others who are in need. Now that I've helped you, I'll be taking my leave now. I have fencing lessons to attend. Rod starts to walk off, but then stops and turns back to me. Don't get yourself in any more trouble. I won't be there all the time to save you. I glare at him and cross my arms. I am not some damsel in distress, Your Highness. I do not need your help. Rod snorts before turning away from me and walking away. Yeah, says the girl that went to him for help to begin with. Later that day, I watch Melanie finish her etiquette lessons. I could tell that the teacher is impressed with her progress. And Melanie is able to correctly name all the glasses and cutlery. She is not so slow a learner. I had come here earlier in the day to better teach Melanie about proper dining etiquette. It turns out that my lesson was valuable. You have shown great improvement, Your Highness. I am glad that you have been diligent with your studies. No doubt you'll be ready for the ball soon. Melanie smiles, her cheeks turning pink. Thank you. I wouldn't have done it without the help of a friend. Melanie glances at me briefly and smiles gently. I really owe her a lot. That is wonderful. I am so glad you have such a dedicated friend, Your Highness. Friend? Is that really what I am to her? But princesses do not have maids as friends. A royal does not mingle with commoners, especially not with servants. Mother told me that before. Melanie does not treat me as a maid, but she cannot possibly think of me as a friend. After the teacher gives Melanie several books to study for their next lesson, she ends the lesson and excuses herself. Melanie approaches me and grasps my hands. Thank you so much, Melody. I wouldn't have passed without your help. All I did was repeat the things your teacher taught you. But you're different. I raise an eyebrow at her. Different? I tend to get nervous in my lessons. My teachers are strict and intimidating. I cave beneath the pressure. But with you, well, I feel more comfortable around you. It's probably because we're almost the same age, and your lessons feel more casual. So, thank you. I am very grateful to you. She looks down at the ground shyly. I hope it's all right that we're friends. I furrow my eyebrows at her. Why would you even want to be friends with a maid? You're supposed to be making friends with the nobles, not the servants. Melanie frowns, and I can feel her deflate. She walks towards the window and sighs. I tried. They may not say anything, but I could feel them silently judging me. I wasn't born a princess, and I feel that they judge everything that I do. They think that I smile too much, that I'm not regal enough. They feel that I'm too clumsy or too cheerful. Well, Melanie definitely does not act like a noble. I cannot say I blame the nobles for being skeptical of her. Being with them suffocates me. I do my best to act like a princess, but the way they all look at me, it's as if they're waiting for me to make a mistake. Then they'll all have an excuse to jeer at me. Every girl dreams of becoming a princess, and yet this is not my dream. I really just miss being a normal girl. I miss my freedom. I look at her thoughtful. I think I can understand what Melanie is feeling. Just like me, she was thrown into a world she was not ready to be a part of. Right now, we have no choice but to fit in. She never wanted my title in the first place, yet I accused her of stealing it. Have you told your mother how you feel? And Melanie shakes her head. No, not the king either. I don't want them to think that I'm ungrateful. That's why I'm trying my best to become accustomed to all of this. I cross my arms. But you're not happy. I'm not. Everyone just assumes that I'm happy because I smile a lot. She barely opens up to anyone, and yet she opened up to me. Had I been given her the choice before I was cursed, I would never have listened to her. You should tell them how you feel rather than just keep it to yourself. Otherwise, the stress will continue to accumulate on your shoulders. I wish I could be more honest with them. I really do. I envy you for being able to speak your mind. She envies me? And Melanie takes a deep breath and sighs. The frown fades with the sigh and is quickly replaced by a fragile smile. I'm sorry for ranting to you like that. I must have bored you with my story. I used to get so annoyed with her, but now that I have seen this side of her, I suppose she is not as terrible as I had first thought. Oh, I remember that Mother wanted to see me after my lessons today. Allow me to escort you to the Queen, then. Thank you. Aw, Melanie is so nice. Days pass without any real conflict. I run into Sir Alcaster again in the hallways, but his eyes pass over me as if I'm something to be ignored. Delora, who had been ignoring me as she had been busy with other priorities, returned to the Marchen yesterday to discuss something important with Parfait. It is not as if she has been any help since she came here. She mostly stays in my room while I run around doing errands for Melanie and taking on other chores as they are handed to me. Right now, I am headed to the palace gates as I hurry to meet Melanie. She is going out to town to meet Viorica again, and I was told to meet her here. Melody! I turn around to see Fritz walking in my direction. Ever since I told him to refer to me by my name, he has been stumbling over not using my title. I rarely see him, but when I do, we do not have much time to discuss anything. Can I help you with anything, Fritz? It's been a while. Have you managed to complete one of your good deeds? Days after I had originally run into Fritz, I managed to have a quick conversation with him regarding my curse. It has been a long time since that conversation happened. Recently, I have barely seen Fritz. I hear rumors he's been reassigned somewhere outside the palace. I show him my pendant and point at the piece of the second glass slipper. I managed to get one several days ago. Melody, that's wonderful. I knew you could get one. Only 2 more and then I could break this curse. Ah, Fritz, Miss Melody, I did not think that the 2 of you were acquainted. We both turn our heads at the same time when Mythros suddenly appears from around the corner, the usual smile on his lips. Sir Mythros. Fritz, I believe Sir Alcaster is looking for you. Right, sorry. Melody, I must take my leave now. Of course. Fritz bows to Sir Mythros before walking off, leaving me alone with Sir Mythros. Mythros does not say anything, but continues to smile at me. His staring makes me feel incredibly uncomfortable. Is there something on my face? Excuse me. I curtsy and start to walk off when Sir Mythros calls my name. Melody? Yes? I just wanted to thank you for your hard work and dedication to our princess. I look at him, puzzled by his sudden gratitude. Don't worry, everything will soon be remedied. Excuse me? My apologies. I did not mean to keep you. He completely ignores my question. Yeah, I was about to say, but wait, doesn't he know that we're the princess? So, what is going on? But then that just confirmed it. He dips his head slightly before turning and walking away, the smile still on his face. What was that all about? Rod and Melanie are already waiting for me outside the carriage by the time I arrive at the palace gates. Rod has his arms crossed and looks at me, irritable. His face is perpetually stuck in a scowl, it seems. You're late. My apologies. You're so grumpy, but you've been late many times before too, Rod. Rod just shrugs his shoulders as he turns and heads into the carriage. And Melanie sighs before looking at me. Shall we? Of course. The 3 of us sit in silence as the carriage rolls toward the town. The knight assigned to guard duty is sitting out front with the driver, watching for any disturbances. Melanie glances forlornly out one window, while Rod silently looks out the other as he rests his chin on the palm of his hand. I notice Melanie pausing to glance at Rod every now and then, looking restless. Finally, she breaks the silence. Are you still mad that I asked you to come along to visit Viorica? You could have declined the invitation, Rod. And if you would only tell me what happened between the 2 of you, I would do my best to remedy this situation. Rod notices me looking at him and scowls. He returns his moody gaze to the window. I have nothing to say, Em. But you used to be good friends with Viorica too, Rod. But then, ever since you were... Melanie stops herself, but I know that she is referring to his curse. After that day, you've kept your distance from her. Then, when you found out about the wedding, you became even colder towards her. Even Viorica is worried about you, Rod. She worries that she might have offended you somehow. Melanie? There is a hint of warning in his tone. Is it possible that Viorica is related to Rod's curse concerning the timing? Melanie opens her mouth again to say something, but then suddenly stops and returns to the window, her expression mirroring Rod's own gloom. We are all silent until we arrive at the toy shop. Melanie, good to see you again. And you too. Melody, was it? I nod in acknowledgement. Viorica nods politely at the knight, who stands guard at the shop door. It's just the two of you today? Melanie and I both turn around, only to see that Rod has indeed vanished. Melanie frowns, looking both bewildered and disappointed. He was right behind us. I will go look for him. Thank you, Melody. Just as I expected, Rod is leaning against the wall of an alley just outside the toy shop. We're just gonna stay with him. I could tell by Rod's stiff posture that anything I say to him will fall on deaf ears, so I moved to stand next to him instead. I leaned against the wall with him. What are you doing? Keeping you company. Rod raises an eyebrow at me. Since when have you even liked my company? Well, I'd rather be here than stay inside the toy shop and listen to Melanie and Viorica talk. So, you're not here to try to get me to talk? Well, it's not as if you would answer any of my questions. I have tried forcing you to talk and know how ineffective it is. But I will be here if you do want to talk. Rod eyes me suspiciously. Since when did you start listening to others? When you are the personal mate of someone who enjoys talking, you learn to listen. Melanie has been happier these past few months. I hate to admit it, but it seems to be because of you. Are you actually praising me? Rod looks away, his cheeks tinted pink. Think whatever you like. My voice is cracking because it's late at night and I've been using it all day. I do not know why, but for some reason I am happy to hear that Rod gave me a compliment. Princess Melody! Rod and I turn at the sound of the familiar voice. Waltz pauses in front of us with a bright smile. It's nice to see you again, Princess. Waltz, what are you doing here? Well, I was about to deliver a letter to the prince, but I guess that won't be necessary anymore. Oof, a letter? Is Lady Parfait asking for me? Not just you, she wants to see the princess as well. Me? It has been a while since I was last at the Marchen. Is something wrong? They need to discuss something important with the princess. Come to the Marchen tonight. Tonight? But we're already here, so why not now? Waltz's eyes shift to our carriage. You are here with Princess Melanie, yes? You can't make her wait too long. They need to discuss with you, or what they need to discuss with you is complicated and will take some time to explain. The toy shop door opens and Melanie stands in the doorway as she says her goodbyes to Viorica. Remember, tonight. These are Waltz's last words before he slips back into the crowd. Melanie's visit with Viorica was briefer than I thought it would be. Now all of us are headed back to the palace. Rod has not uttered a word on our way back. I could tell that this is making Melanie agitated, and she continues to keep glancing at Rod expectantly. If you have something to say, say it. And Melanie stares at me. You obviously want to say something to Prince Rod. The only way to get your answers is to ask him directly. Rod does not turn around. It is as if he does not hear me. And Melanie clasps her hands and sighs. Well, I glance at Rod, who still persistently stares out the window, his eyes focused on nothing. Is he pretending not to hear us? How immature! Rod, Viorica was sad that you weren't there today. She was certain that you stayed outside to avoid seeing her. What is going on with you? I'm not in the mood to answer your questions, Em. And Melanie grips the edges of her dress, her expression becoming more rigid. You've been keeping secrets from us ever since you were cursed. We don't even know why you were cursed or how to help you break it. Wait, the rest of the family doesn't know anything about the circumstances of Rod's curse? I had thought that he told them everything, but all they know is that he is cursed. We're a family. We're supposed to help each other through problems. And Melanie's hands are shaking as she gazes at her brother. M. But that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So, if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, subscribe. By subscribing, you're becoming part of a legacy. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!